Okay, check. Yeah, we're good. Fuck it. This one's gonna be quick because I have a pizza in the oven, and I'm looking forward to eating that because I haven't eaten all day. And I guess I'm also kind of in the middle of watching the playoffs, the hockey. It's Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and I think it's either going into the third or overtime, one of the two. Anyway, I have one that I'm not like. I actually really like this movie, and it's one that I've talked about in the past. Not only liking, but I really admire the director. He's one of the good ones. He's a guy that can take a really fucking either boring or mundane subject and kind of turn it into something that's not only like palatable and like understandable, even if it's like vague and kind of, I don't know. Just give me one sec. You can hear that. Yeah, you can hear that. Give me one sec. I'm a fucking moron. I turned on my washing machine because I was stinky from work and I wanted to wash my clothes for tomorrow, so I turned on my washing machine. It's making more noise than the goddamn train usually that goes by here. But anyway, the filmmaker makes like a real fucking ambiguous film. But it's grounded enough where you're able to like kind of, I don't know, like enjoy it for both the story and for like kind of being left to interpret what's there to yourself. And I've always liked that about him. It's David Fincher. He directed Fight Club. He's directed a whole bunch of shit. I'm a little high. I'm not going to think of it off there. But the one we're watching today is The Social Network. And I really like this movie because it really annoys my friend Mark. And I know I talk a lot about Mark. He's going to get on here one of these days. I'm going to fucking find a way to drag his ass down here. And we're going to talk about Blade Runner. It's going to be the only episode that anybody ever fucking listens to. Well, mark my fucking words. We're watching goddamn Blade Runner. And we're probably going to get hammered and talk about it. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. It's going to be a lot of us bitching at one another and calling each other stupid. He doesn't like this movie because he doesn't like Jesse Eisenberg. And Jesse Eisenberg is a fine actor for what he is. He is a dorky, unrelatable, like, guy because he's just like not manly, but he tries to do these roles. Like Zombieland's a good example where he's not manly in that film, but he has to assume the position of somebody that does, where like he's not manly, but he overcompensates in other departments and it picks up for it. Just like in this film where he's not manly, but he overcompensates in other departments and it picks up for him. Or pretty much anything. Vivarium, for example. American Ultra. Like Jesse Eisenberg is kind of like there's just one too that I want to talk about actually. I got actually a pretty big plan for the next episode. I got it's gonna be the 25th episode. I'm gonna quarter centennial. My 25th fucking episode. I can't believe I've done 20. I'm doing the 24th one of these. I can't believe I've done two. It's fucking awesome. You know, like, give me a fucking round of applause. But now we'll hold your applause till fucking next episode. Let's see if I don't get hit by a car between now and then. Oh no, I'm just bummed out from work. But there's one where he's in he's like the dude that was, there's these guys in 2013, I think 2014, somewhere around there, that were buying up like very minuscule amounts of property or the rights to use people's property or some shit all over the country because they were trying to make a fiber optic wire from New York to Chicago that would give them some kind of like microsecond edge on like algo trading. And it was a very interesting concept and the story is really fucking fascinating, but I didn't like the film, but I think I fell asleep in it and I forget why I gave up on it. But I'm going to get to that. I think it's called like the Hummingbird Project or some shit. I'll figure it out. But Jesse Eisenberg is a dorky, not a fucking manly man who has to assume the role of a dude and overcompensates in like other ways. Like it's really what he does. It's just the role he plays, and he's really good at it. Like he does fine. He's an adequate actor. He serves the purpose. He's very typecast, and I'm sure he doesn't like that, but he's fine at what he does. This film, he does great playing Zuckerberg too. Zuckerberg, after seeing him testify in front of Congress all those times and then like on Zoom and shit, there's something about him that's just like, you look exactly like the kind of person that didn't like just have the idea, didn't have the inkling. He literally needed to make a fucking website that you can compare women. He just looks like one of those dudes. Like, I mean, I judge everybody. I'm a fucking asshole. My buddy Yussel today pointed out too that I'm always bitching, but it's like, I'm always bitching because like if I'm bitching, I'm being productive at least. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing about me. But like right now, I'm recording a podcast. I might be bitching, but I am recording a podcast. I'm also watching hockey. I'm multitasking right now. Fuck. Breathing. Yeah. Oh, and cooking a pizza. There we go. 3 fucking things. Trifecta. Scrocca in the fucking house. Actually, I don't know. Anyway, that's really depressing. But no, I complain a lot, but I get shit done. And like this guy, like took it to like the next fucking level. He took it to an extreme that I can't fathom. Like I'm resentful, but I'm not that resentful. And he somehow turned it into like a $1 billion industry. I mean, I think like a $1 billion company. He's probably worth like as much, if not like more right now than Jeff Bezos. But the story's not that really that fascinating. It's just like smart dude gets burned by girlfriend, ends up inventing something. That's like the birth of all creation is done generally because somebody is determined and maddened enough by their own like sick like rationale that they do weird and like kind of, I don't know, crazy shit sometimes. But ultimately, like that is how you make great fucking things. My friend, I have a friend actually, and I don't name drop often. I don't think I need to. I think I'm a fairly intelligent, interesting enough guy. But in my wheelings and dealings, I've met this guy who has some YouTube notoriety. His name is Brandon Herrera. He's the AK guy on YouTube. He's making the AK-50. And in my travels, I've befriended him. Me and him are pretty fucking tight. I mean, not recently. I've moved since far away from where he lives. But I spent a lot of time hanging out with this guy, and he's a nice guy. He's a really fun dude to shoot the shit with, real down to earth, really passionate about what he does, and he makes everything he does very like palatable. But he's been developing the AK-50, and you can watch all his shit on the AK guy, and the development of the AK-50 on his page, and you can see how like the dude literally took the fucking casing, the brass casing from the first 50 BMG that he fired through it, and turned it into a wedding ring so that he could say he's married to his work. And he laughs at like I'm pretty fucking like I laugh at my own dumb shit, but like he is dead ass fucking serious, and he says it lightheartedly, but like I've never met someone that's like just as determined. My cousin fucking works with him. My cousin is like one of the most hard-nosed. Oh man, dude, I almost fucking put a prop bet on this fucking game that it wasn't gonna go like there. I think it was like plus 250 that it wasn't gonna go to fucking overtime. And sure enough, it's in fucking overtime. I mean, Montreal's got to force this, otherwise the fucking Lightning win the Stanley Cup, and they're looking fucking hot. But anyway, back to the fucking subject. Determination breeds like, you gotta be somewhat spiteful, somewhat crazy, somewhat just determined, a little lucky to get what you want and like to make it. And it's like this dude just did it in such a fucking slimy, like just weird way. And then like the whole point of this film is he's in the middle of 2 fucking lawsuits that are going on simultaneously over the company that he created, because not only did he fuck his friends over, but he stole the idea. And it's like, whatever, it doesn't. All I'm getting at, this all amalgamates in a way where like these aren't very particularly interesting things. But that being said, David Fincher's such a skillful, like he's probably the perfect artist. Like him and maybe Denis Villeneuve are like the 2 perfect filmmaking artists for what they do, where they like just craft like an idea into a film that's like, what if like the most like socially connected person on the world, like you learned about that guy, and then it's like it just kind of becomes this like inward folding thing of like, well, like I'm gonna watch this film and it's gonna like it's gonna give me like the kind of the picture, but like then ultimately, like probably throughout the film, you're going to be looking on Facebook. It's very fucking weird in that sense. And I like that. And I want to try and completely avoid doing that throughout this film just to really, focus and appreciate it. I'm actually going to probably turn the hockey off. But yeah, without I don't know. I'm just going to really enjoy this one, and I'm going to give you some thoughts on the other side because I like it. But without further ado, we're watching The Social Network. All right. Weird one. Weird everything. I don't want to make this too much about me, but I had a really shitty day at work, and I don't want to do it anymore. I think this whole fucking work thing is fucked. But my job's not exactly the easiest. I have to fucking stand in one spot all night and cook fucking overpriced seafood for fucking morons. But that being said, yeah, I got to at least enjoy the end of this movie. It took me 2 nights to do this one. I had to watch, I watched the first half last night, and then about halfway through, I picked up tonight and finished it. I'm not even sure how much I need to talk about this one. I just really enjoy this movie. It's one of those weirdly satisfying films that if you have any any interest in watching a boring, and I didn't realize it was written by Aaron Sorkin too. Aaron Sorkin does a really good job at that, taking really boring shit and making it like have a little bit of a pulse. And then you get a really good director like David Fincher who just comes around and makes it like it's got a little pizzazz to it. It's got these little flair moments that make it good. I actually didn't want to bring that up. There's a lot of like reliance on those flair moments. There's these moments in the film that do very heavily rely on kind of the audience just being a human in general. I would say the overarching theme for this would be like spite, because he ultimately does to get back. The whole concept of Facebook was and something incepted. Well, he was angry at his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend because they broke up. And then the film is punctuated by him trying to add her on Facebook, which is funny. That's why I think David Fincher is charming, because yeah, there's so much of the fucking world that has been made through spite. Did I talk about this in the beginning, in the first part? I don't even remember at this point. But yeah, he does a good job of conveying that emotion, and if you follow the thread of that all the way through, it's like Jesse Eisenberg does like an excellent job of being a spiteful nerd, and you know what, he does it again here, and he's fucking awesome at it. And like I said, he's not the best actor, but he's typecast in ways that make him like really good. They give him the right fucking tools to work with. They're I guess the right direction too. But yeah, I like that. I really like the just there's these like little pops. When I was in film school, which by the way, if you guys want to go down a weird tangent, I watched this on DVD, and I remember where I got the DVD from. I stole it from my school like when I was in college. They had a school store thing that was in the student center, and I stole it from there because we found this one deactivated fucking one of those like things that alarms that goes off if you try to shoplift. We found one that was deactivated in the basement, so if you go into the school store on the first floor or through the student center, you could go down to the basement and take whatever you wanted out of this one side door because the little thing just wouldn't go off. Or if they did, they were just really shitty at paying attention. But then you can go through the Rathskeller Lounge and get out there to your car and be on your fucking way. We had a weird contest, me and my 3 roommates, to see who could either steal or shoplift the craziest thing that semester. And my one friend Derek won. He won by a long shot because he got kicked. He got all of us kicked out of the dorms. He stole a fire extinguisher, and those have serial numbers on them, especially at Hofstra. And they found that in our bathroom and kicked us out, which is fucking hilarious. In hindsight, it was incredibly stupid, but yeah, that, and I think and the Lemonheads too. Yeah, my roommate Frankie went to an Islanders game. He came back with a box of Lemonheads. It was like the size of like a box that like a printer comes in. And it was filled with bags of Lemonheads, like individuals, like 10-piece serving little Lemonheads. So we emptied them all out of this box. And then drop the box in the hallway. And then, like, when people were walking by, they just pick them up and eat them. And then someone got drunk and they just ended up fucking spilling all over the hallway. We were pricks. We were real pricks. But it was fun. It was a good time. Oh yeah, and I think I sexually, or I think I me too'd myself. Hopefully I do get canceled if I tell this story. This will be good. I had a gay RA. His name was Colgan, and Colgan didn't like me because I was a stoner, but he could never catch me smoking pot, and I was which fuck motherfucker. I'm gonna have to bleep that shit too. Man, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm way too high for this right now. But yeah, he could never catch me like in the act of doing anything, but they did catch my roommates, and he was annoyed that I was still there. So he's like weird. I don't know, like he just kind of like fucking got mad at me one day because I got real drunk and high, and I put on this thing I have called Ignatz. It's like a like a jock strap that has a fur pelt on it, and my mom bought it for me when I was in Utah with her and my family one time. I have a very strange family. So just, if you were expecting this to be a conventional movie podcast that stays on the subject, you're fucking sorely mistaken. But yeah, I got this jockstrap thing. I would put it on when I was hammered. I was walking around the hallways in this jockstrap, and apparently I walked up to my RA and asked him if he wanted to pet my cock. He was like, you need to go home right now. And I was like, whatever. And there's a great picture that someone snapped of me walking down the hallway with my fucking ass hanging out, giving everybody the finger. It was great. It was a good time. I was a real fucking prick in college, but anyway, yeah, so that contest was how I ended up with this DVD. And when I opened it up, I smelled my house. Like I could smell the way that my dorm room, my sophomore year smelled. It was weird. It was real weird. Went nice little journey down memory lane. But yeah, I got it on DVD, and I did watch it with the commentary a few times. I like what David Fincher has to say, but he, as well as like my teachers in school, because this movie had just come out around like 2009, I think 2008, somewhere in the ballpark of that. It was like a relatively new movie, and it was one that was still being talked about because David Fincher was like on a fucking roll. Like he was pretty deep into his career, but he's still putting out bangers. Like the guy puts up fucking great numbers when it comes to making like award-worthy films, and this is one of them. And yeah, he like just there's this one line where it's the dude from the Pacific, the guy Mazzalelli or whatever, that guy. He comes like bursting in. Well, Mark Zuckerberg or fucking Jesse Eisenberg is taking a nap in the computer lab, and he's like, "Hey, there's a girl in your blah 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 class, and do you know if she's single?" And he's like, "Yeah, but people don't just walk around with signs around their neck saying if they're." And then he just gets up and runs out. And it's like moments like that Fincher is really good at, because he conveys the meat and potatoes of the fucking story is there. But it's like finding that like one pat of butter in your stuff. It's like, oh, that's the flavor escalator right there. Like you get like a little something extra from it, and it just makes it more like down to earth. And like I would like to touch on something about Fincher, and like I know if you know anything about him, like I fucking wish I didn't watch more of his films with the commentary on, but he's always pointing it out. He never really follows one particular aesthetic style, but for the most part, he uses a cinematographer that I cannot remember his name, and I even looked it up. Before starting this. But yeah, he uses a cinematographer that him and the two of them get along quite well. And every film looks like pretty distinct. No two films look the same. But there is like a couple of things that he does. He really enjoys the lighting, but like not like the lighting of... oh shit. Okay. He doesn't like enjoy like overlighting or underlighting or anything. He just has like a real good way of knowing when to balance things, and he is really good at making things kind of billboards in the film. Like the best example that you're gonna get of it in like just the opening sequence and then the end right before the end title credits crawl. There's like a couple of scenes where he's using like these like dark areas of the frame, and he already had the cinematography and the blocking and like the entire like layout of the frame figured out. so that you could like plaster words on there, like kind of like the way that you would do a billboard, but he did it in an aesthetically pleasing way that you don't always get, where you're still getting the full frame and you're able to like kind of trace the character throughout the throughout the scene and like follow him on this journey through I guess it's Harvard's campus in Cambridge or whatever. I don't even fucking know. I don't know the Ivy League. That's like completely foreign to me. I went to a bullshit, a fucking fake ass Ivy League school. Hofstra fucking stinks. But yeah, you're able to like follow him, but at the same time, he gave himself these like little opportunities to kind of like use that to fill with the credits, and at the end, he uses it to kind of do like the whatever they call it on that when you tack it on to the end. I forget what the fucking words are. My brain's fucking mush right now. But yeah, he's really good at doing that. And I think that's like a really interesting trick because it's a very rudimentary thing when it comes to cinematography. You're back in the day, you had to do this thing called overcranking if you wanted to achieve an effect similar to that. Nowadays, you can just well, I mean, in this case, you would have been able to just film it that way. But what overcranking was like you would manually recrank the film, like because all film was done on like these like spring wound things, like even the magazines were spring wound. So you would have to take the film and then re-spool it the exact amount of footage you shot through the camera for the desired scene, and then you would create a superimposition by matting the frame out so that you could like shoot, like let's say you wanted to make like a cross dissolve is not like even a good one. I don't even really like you wanted to make like a composite shot, like something that you could easily achieve with like CGI today, where like you got like me standing in front of a white wall, but then like in post you're gonna keyframe everything behind me so that it looks like I'm standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon or like surfing on a big kahuna wave, something to the effect of that. Back in the day, what you used to have to do is you would shoot me in front of the white wall or the green screen, whatever, find the nice balance point, and then, I would be film doing my activity, and then the frame would be matted with like either an actual like matte box or like a piece of like matting that was like shaped kind of roughly the character's size, and they would recrank the film through back through the magazine so that they could rerun it where it wasn't matted. It's kind of like one frame is just me with nothing, and then the next frame, like the same frame, is like reshot. It's like just like shooting the film twice, but you're shooting two different actions with it, if that makes sense. I'm not doing a real good job of doing it, but just imagine like a green screen effect where like you're standing on in front of something and they superimpose the background. That's what I'm trying to describe. You would just have to shoot it twice on the same film. David Fincher has kind of broached that subject with his cinematography. He hasn't quite he just uses it well. He uses space well. He shoots things on film so they look very nice, and they're just like you can't explain how fucking like I've been to arbitration in real life. My mom was a lawyer. I know how fucking boring that shit was. It's not fun. It's like even if you have like a big payday or like there's like a high stake thing going on, it's like still just fucking a bunch of like lawyers like being very lawyery. This is a good way of making it relatable. They're just very smart, and they want to outfox each other, and they want to like kind of play mental games and shit with each other, and use language like the way like two boxers would duke it out. If like two boxers that really didn't like each other, like Buster Douglas and like Mike Tyson, is a good example. Actually, Tyson Fury's fighting Deontay Wilder in a couple of weeks, like that. They're gonna be trying to knock each other's block off. That's what these like lawyers that are represented, both the Winklevoss's representation as well as the Eduardo Savern guy. It's played by Andrew Garfield. Soon enough, I'm going to be doing Under the Silver Lake too. That's a underrated Andrew Garfield film. Everybody knows him for Spider-Man and bitches about it, but like, god damn, he's a good actor. And when used appropriately, like he is here, I think it really comes through. But I digress. Back to the cinematography. There's like these shots where like he just takes like very tedious shit and still keeps it visually interesting, but like where the shots like lose momentum, it just picks right back up with the story, because at least the conversations are kind of engaging, and the architecture is very like captivating for when they're in the rooms. Like you got these, it kind of feels like a play. when it's like that, and it's like this like a play that like takes these nice little tangents, these like little like vignettes that like kind of help paint each person's character, and then finding out how like they're all kind of doing things for the wrong reasons, but there's like this but like friendship that wants to be rekindled via like Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield, and then like Rashida Jones. There's one that's kind of like blossoming, even though like at the end she kind of does that lawyer thing that where you're just condescending for no fucking reason, and that's I don't know, that's a fucking thing. It is a thing. It's just I don't know. It's like if you hung out around lawyers as much as I have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, I'm sure it's a foreign like at the very end, her character does a perfect job of like she's a not a paralegal, she's like a junior partner probably, and they want to bring her in. And I guess she said that she's like a jury selection specialist too. So she's a person that's like supposed to be there to like not only observe, but she's also kind of a membrane between the counsel and the client, because they're both there to kind of just be there. They're not entirely like if the lawyers really wanted to, they're just doing that because they know they can fucking milk it and get paid. I mean, there's some testimony that needs to be given, but like ultimately, it's like how's it get resolved? She wraps it up perfectly. They're gonna go downstairs. They're gonna have a steak. They're gonna come back upstairs and start filing the the paperwork to get the settlement agreement like drawn up. That's the way it fucking works. They really didn't even need to be there. It's just, done for dramatic effect and kind of them to say their piece. I'm sure that in real life it was a lot more boring than this, but what the point I'm trying to make here is that Fincher just knows how to like make boring shit interesting, and I like that. And I really I wish more directors could figure it out, because like a lot of people kind of do the opposite. They make interesting shit very boring, or they take something that could be very cool and make it tedious. Case in point was one that I had to throw out. I got into a really I was just bashing people at work on the Drag to Concrete episode, but that's a good example of like a film that like it's supposed to be like a buddy cop noir / like detective movie, where they took like what could potentially have been a really cool thing, and they make them talk like fucking morons. The villains are completely unbelievable. They're just on a killing spree for petty cash, and just the whole thing is over stylized, but in a way where I can't take any of it fucking seriously. And Vince Vaughn is like, he's just over, he is ham-fisted as fuck overacting, doing these like, well, Johnny, what do you think? Just another day at the fucking office, and they're like on a fire escape. It's just like trying to be a fucking film noir, like so fucking hard. Where this, it has elements of like a little bit of every like kind of American, it's got like a little studio bit, like a little showmanship to it. There's the part with Bill Gates, but like there are like a couple of parts where I said like it does feel like a play, and I kind of get like an old school. The only thing, it doesn't like bust out into the fucking Rockettes at any point, or like at least not outright. It does kind of satiate the party thing, which I would could argue like the party element is kind of like the vaudevillian like entertainment aspect of it. It's like like what kids were used to do is like they would be like, oh, I want to look like somebody on Broadway or whatever. It's like now they want to be like the cool person at the party. I kind of see that as a cinema thing. I think I just like got I just like started that idea in the middle of it too. So if that doesn't translate, just chalk it up to me being tired. I'm sure nobody's even fucking listening to this. If you did, goddamn, I really appreciate you. Leave me a like. But yeah, fucking I think that's enough. I really like the Social Network. That's a good one. If you want, try and spot all the times. Fuck. Yeah. I don't know. One of the things. Just one more moment to savor, and then I'll get out of here. I like when Zuckerberg walks in and he's staring at the fucking the waterfall, the fucking looped image of Niagara Falls when he goes to the Jewish frat Caribbean party, and it's like he gets frustrated with that. That's something I really do identify with, and I don't know if that's like based on any authentic thing, but like I'm sure Zuckerberg is in real life just such a fucking lunatic that would be something that bothers him. There's this one time where I was driving around with my boss when I was working on Jay and Silent Bob down in New Orleans. And we drive by. We were going to Subway, and to go into Subway, there's this dentist office that's like, I guess, like a children's specialty dentist, and their logo, being a kid's office, is like a kind of like anamorphic whale that is like holding a toothbrush. But they chose a baleen whale, and I like mentioned that to my boss. I was like, yeah, like why is a dentist office, someone that cleans teeth, going to pick like a baleen whale as like a mascot? Because it's a whale, like one of the whale that eat krill. It doesn't have teeth. It has those like baleen, the bristles. And like he just kind of like thought about it for a minute. He's like, your brain never does turn off, does it? I'm like, not really. He's like, well, all right. Well, that was a fun thought. The Social Network. Watch it. Watch more films by David Fincher. I'm sure when my brain is not mush and I'm dying of heat stroke, I'll come up with some other ones to watch. But yeah, thank you for listening.